right, what's up? We're talking about how you can create custom dashboards using tools or these super AI apps like Codex, Claude, or anything else that pretty much gets created, right? Nowadays, these super AI apps are getting very, very popular. And quite honestly, I'm pretty bullish that they're going to probably replace tools like Chrome and stuff like that. But they pretty much look like this. This is Codex, for instance. If you're not familiar, it's pretty much a super AI app. You download it on your desktop. It can interact with your computer. It can open up the browser. You can connect it with different connectors, which are pretty much like plugins. It's kind of like an app on your phone, right? So you can connect it with different plugins, connectors, and then your AI can pretty much interact with any sort of data set or data source that you connect and give it permissions to. So whether it's only read-only permissions, whether it's write permissions, it really depends what kind of permissions you enable your AI to do. But obviously, if you're going YOLO mode or full send, your AI has the best access to everything. It can even fix bugs for you. It can create dashboards for you, which is what we're going to be talking about. It can give you new insights about what's going on in your business or maybe some project you're working on, whatever it is. So specifically in this video, we're going to be talking about how you can create custom dashboards using Codex in this case, but don't think it's only limited to Codex. You can use Claude, doesn't really matter. So when you actually download the app, and on the side, I don't have it open here because honestly there's a lot of private chats I have in it, so I don't feel like exposing and blurring all that stuff out, but there is this feature on the left panel where you can press and click connectors or plugins, right? And this is pretty much what it looks like. So there is a set of plugins that is created by Codex. So it'll usually be these featured ones, or if you kind of go down below, I believe there are like packs, right, by OpenAI. Oh, it actually says right here by OpenAI. So you can kind of pretty much see what was created by OpenAI, download it onto your desktop app here, and then start using it right away. So this is super powerful if you're trying to interact with data on like say spreadsheets, documents, PDF files, create presentations for you, interact with your Google Drive, maybe something on your GitHub, maybe you have a Vercel account, maybe you have some database backend if you're using say like the Supabase or something like that, Firebase maybe. So there's all these various different plugins you can connect your Codex with, and I'm telling you, this makes it extremely powerful. Like, so for instance, in this example, I will show you in just a moment of like what a custom dashboard I was able to build and some of the basic connectors we have here. So I'm not saying I'm using all of these, but I'll tell you some of the ones I am using and how we're making that work. So there's a combination of Supabase, MailerLite for email marketing. This is the database backend, TikTok ads, Airtable, Google Sheets, Facebook ads, PostHog, which is where we're going to be actually hosting and creating these custom dashboards and analytics. You can also use like Mixpanel, for instance, if you're a Mixpanel fan. If you're doing Google ads, I don't have here also, but you can also connect your Stripe account. So if you have real-time sales data and you want to know like specifically what kind or like how much are your customers spending with you, or how much they're spending in general, or how many sales you're getting per day. And you can even go even more advanced with it. You can connect like any sort of like payment processor. So that's also super powerful. So the way I see it is like, let's say if I'm running a funnel or like there's like an ecosystem of different, say landing pages, web pages, maybe it's a website, mobile app, or just like an ecosystem of products, right? I've spoken to business owners where they have like many dashboards, or they just want something in a single source of truth because maybe they're running Google ads, maybe they're running Facebook ads, maybe they're running TikTok ads, and maybe they're manually tracking this manually in the spreadsheet just so they can see their numbers. But the thing is, like now with these super AI apps, you can pretty much just connect it with a connector. So with these examples here, and then you can pretty much get something like this. So I'm actually going to zoom in into each of these. And now this is mock data, by the way, but this is actually how it looks like in my PostHog, by the way. So if you get PostHog, by the way, is like a behavior analytics tracking platform, but they're trying to expand and offer like more suites of products. So you can pretty much be like this like super, I guess, behavior analytics platform. Nonetheless, I love them. They have like an amazing suite of products. And when you connect your AI app to it, so in this case, Codex, and then I sync it with say my email subscribers, maybe I sync it with say sales data, maybe I sync it with my backend. And because maybe I'm also like creating various tables there for like specific cases or like some sort of specific launch I'm doing or whatever, you can create insights and then dashboards. So a dashboard is pretty much something like this giant like view here, right? But then insight is actually something more specific. So maybe you're looking at cumulative subscriber growth. Maybe you're looking at say what the CAC is. Maybe you're looking at for like AOV and stuff like that. So these are like general insights, right, within a dashboard. And then I'll have a main dashboard where I want this master view of everything. And we have 4 screenshots here of pretty much what it looks like on the inside of mine. But once again, these are mock numbers, not actual real numbers, but it's pretty much the same exact idea. And you can be as creative as possible. So if you're doing Facebook ads and maybe you want to figure out what your CAC is, maybe you want to figure out how much you should be spending, like how much are you liquidating on the front end versus the back end, or maybe you want to figure out what the average order value is when people initially enter your sphere of influence in your business, then this is very useful, because if you connect all your different connectors and plugins with Codex or Claude Code, it can pull and sync in all this information. And ideally, I wish Codex could have like a 1,000,000 token window, because recently when I've been testing with like Opus and Fable, these context windows can run up to like 1,000,000 tokens, which is amazing, right? Because it can carry on these conversations, long chain reasoning, and it can just have these massive long conversations before, say, a compaction. But nonetheless, I use Codex on high, sometimes maybe extra high, but for the most part, medium and high. And when you use it, and then it can reason through all the data you're syncing it with, maybe you import some sort of manual CSV file, whatever it is, and then it can pretty much create these custom insights for you. And these can be updated in real time, because if you create like a data warehouse inside of PostHog, so if you don't know what like a data warehouse is, from my understanding, you can pretty much warehouse your data from various sources inside of PostHog, or you can pretty much just get PostHog, or you can just get Codex to connect to all these different connectors, like we're kind of doing here, and then sync all the information here. So maybe say every 24 hours or every couple hours, it syncs the data. And if you're not doing it here manually with like Claude or Codex, like even in Claude, they have like artifacts where you can create these dashboards themselves there too, right? But if you're not creating it there, then you can house it inside of a data warehouse where every couple hours, maybe once a day or whatever, it can sync based on new information and data that's coming into the warehouse. And then from there, it can update all your insights. So this is super valuable. And especially like the more traffic and business that you're getting and more footprints that is going on all around your whole entire ecosystem, is very valuable to see, especially if you're very numbers driven and you want to make decisions based on legit data that's actually happening in your business versus just kind of whimming it or basing it off intuition. So this is extremely powerful. So one insight here is for cumulative growth for subscribers. Like I said, another one is for CAC. So you obviously need some sort of customer acquisition cost just to be able to calculate that. But like, let's say this is it, and this is how you can also see how it's dropping over time, assuming say you are increasing the front end AOV, or maybe you're increasing how many sales you're getting on the front end, whatever. Here we also have the average order value. So if say we were running a funnel and we're trying to figure out what the average order value is of say someone entering our funnel, you can get this to track here. Maybe we want to get like some general numbers for how many purchases we're getting throughout the whole entire funnel over a period, say 30 days, 7 days, 14 days, whatever. You can see how many purchases there are, how much revenue is being produced, what's the average order value, the median order value. And then what we have here is another metric I created. So I created like a sort of cohort-based retention insight here. So how many people are coming back to purchase, right? So after their first purchase, how many more people come back and purchase again? And we have like these various different cohorts. Reactivation retention, I'm actually not too sure what this is. I think Codex may have hallucinated on that, but I think it may be either reactivation after their email goes cold and we're trying to reactivate them to see if they get a purchase, or after like a couple of weeks we try to get them to come back. But nonetheless, and then this is an interesting insight I got from Alex Hormozi's money models, and it's the payback period, I believe. And here you can see how much it costs just to acquire a customer over like a set of days, and then how much we're actually making back from that customer over a set amount of days. So on day 0, we can make about $25. On day 5, we're making about 30 per customer. By day 10, we're making about 40. And then you can see here how it skyrockets. So this is also very valuable to see how much money you're making on the back end with your analytics. And then over here, we have a few other things. So here's just like another funnel. Here is like a conversion rate of what is this? Oh, it's just, I believe, performance just for general sales per day. So how many visitors we're getting per day, how many leads we're getting, how many purchases we're getting, how much revenue is being produced, what's the average conversion rate, North Star metric. So these aren't like metrics we actually have, because right now we don't have a subscription, but we're trying to get a subscription in. But you can see here that, it's pretty much the same idea. If you're looking to track mainly subscriptions as North Star metric, which I don't think is a good North Star metric, I mean, you can have that here. But for instance, what we have is what's called revenue per active email subscriber. So that's a pretty powerful metric, because if you know how many emails you have and you have an average number for how much each email that is active is worth, then you can kind of predict how much revenue you're going to make every single month, which is very powerful when it comes to like email marketing stuff. So that's kind of like the North Star metric I'm using, at least for the funnel that I'm currently working on. And then what we have here is, and this is like a typical funnel insight. This is actually a pretty popular one in PostHog if you're running like onboarding flows or any sort of like quiz funnels, whatever. This is actually pretty powerful, because if you know what your conversion rate is, you can just kind of see like the drop-offs from the previous state, what the conversion rate is from each step to step to step. So this is super useful to know. If we're doing surveys, this is something useful. I wonder what this is. I think Codex just hallucinated, just created something out of the whim. Daily funnel volume, and this is just like a general daily funnel volume of, like, once again, entrance instead of funnel, people who started a quiz or like some sort of onboarding flow, how many emails we got, how many of them actually completed the funnel, how many actually saw the upsell or like the initial offer, how many clicked on the checkout button, and how many actually purchased. So you can see here that these are just like a bunch of insights in like this one master universal dashboard that I have inside my PostHog. So if I were to open that up, it would actually reveal a bunch of sensitive information, which is not what I'm trying to do. So what I did was I just screenshotted it, and I'm showing you just some like mock information of what it kind of looks like, right? And that's kind of like the power of it, because you can build these custom dashboards now with AI. Like, by the way, I didn't custom code any of these. Maybe like I did a few tweaks inside of the insight themselves to specifically display certain types of information. But other than that, I mostly just prompted this. And once you like I'm telling you, like once you connect the plugins with whatever data sources you're looking to house together in under a roof. So right now I recommend using PostHog, unless you want to like manually develop these dashboards. That's also possible. I did that before on like a web app. So if you're hosting like say a Vercel website or something, whatever, you're hosting it somewhere, even on Firebase, I don't know. What you can do is you can do like a cron job where every day, once a day, or every couple of hours, it syncs all the information together, and then you get these updated dashboards. So that's also possible. I don't recommend it. I'd rather just do it with like a platform that's designed and built for this, and PostHog definitely meets my needs. I haven't really explored too much Mixpanel, so I can't give you an argument or reasoning why to use that, but I just use PostHog and I've been using them ever since, so they're pretty good. But once you connect the connectors and you know what you're trying to get on the dashboard, if you honestly don't even know what you want, honestly just look for some metrics, whether you're running an e-commerce store, startup, or whatever, and then figure out what kind of key metrics to track. Otherwise, if you know what your metrics are, then feel free to like prompt Codex or Claude, and then it will create all these insights. And if you are actually looking for additional insights or metrics to track that you may not be aware of, then have like a thinking session with either Claude or Codex, and just pretty much ask it, what do you think I need based off all this information? What kind of patterns am I seeing here? Or based on all the data coming in, is there any sort of metrics or insights we should be resurfacing, or like I should be paying attention to? So you can pretty much get the AI to analyze all this information, just swallow it up, and from there help you make better decisions based on what's happening. So rather than just prompting and talking with information, you can actually visually see it, and then from there track it over time. So whether it's over like a 7-day period, 1-day period, 30-day, couple week period, it doesn't matter. This is extremely powerful, especially if you're running a business or if your job or role is very data driven. So like I said, once you connect these plugins or connectors with Codex or like Claude, you literally just prompt it. You literally just prompt and be like, hey, build this out inside Codex, or build this out in PostHog. If there's like one thing you have to set up first, it's get the Codex app if you don't already have it, and if you're not using it, if you're like only the 0.5% of people using it. And then once you've got that, have the location where to store the platform. So the very first thing you should do right after that is get like a PostHog account. It's free. I think you get like 1 million events per month for free before you have to upgrade. And once you get that, you're literally just vibe prompting it. You're just vibe coding it, and you're just telling Claude, what do you want? Or Codex, what do you want? What do you want to see? What kind of insights? And then it's just going to cook. I highly recommend using AIs, like the model capabilities that are very good with agentic reasoning, and just using MCP tools, things of that nature, because if you're going to be using like different tools, you might as well have something that knows how to actually use through it and like check through everything thoroughly. So whether it's Fable, whether it's Claude Opus, or even like Codex, like on like a higher reasoning. But once you have this, I mean, you're set to go, and you can just monitor it. It's always there, and it's just always updating it, or you can just refresh it manually, and then you should be good. So hopefully this video was valuable, especially for people who are like looking and figuring out or just like looking for solutions in general, how to track their metrics and pull everything into one single unified dashboard. This was my solution. This is how I'm doing it right now. Codex is the best platform to do it on, in my opinion. I have some mixed opinions on like Claude, but nonetheless, Claude is definitely cooking right now if you've been using it with Fable. So that's also an amazing tool to use. But at the same time, personally, right now, my workflow when I'm designing and building these insights and dashboards is with Codex. So that's what I recommend. If you want to use it, just simply start off with a $20 a month plan and you should be good to go. So thanks for watching this video. Hope to see you in another one. If you want me to make another video on something specific, or maybe even on like how to use Codex or something like that, just feel free to drop it in the comments. Let me know, and I'll see you in another one soon.